It's Thursday, May 9th, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, the longest continuous running tech podcast. This is show number 857, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Our May GoDaddy special, get 32% off at GoDaddy using promo code GO32OFF1, or get a .com for just $2.49. All the details are at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, folks, slight shift in the show. We'll talk about that here in a second. And it's not going to matter too much for the rest of you, but the live folks, it might. Hey, you know what comes next? Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central, coming to you live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Everyone, welcome to the show. And of course, those of you who are watching the video, I'm noticing we've got some sort of a bug, a mosquito, moth, something that's making the orbit in here. So with these lights on, I just kind of like, wow, where did he come from? But hey, everyone, welcome to the show. And of course, I want to give a warm welcome to the Hana, all the long-time listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family. Hey, and of course, if you're brand new to the show, I want to thank you for considering us. And definitely want you to go over to the website at geeknewscentral.com. And let's see if I can click the buttons here. And, hey, get subscribed to the show. Get subscribed to the newsletter. That way you'll stay connected to us at all times. You'll never miss a single episode. You'll have everything that, basically, when I do the show notes and put those out, they go out in the newsletter. And you'll get all the links to everything I talk about tonight. All the hot and latest tech is in there, so definitely get subscribed. That way you'll never miss a single episode. Of course, our writers are doing some great things as well, putting out great content on the website as well. I tell you, things have just been absolutely out of control here, and just wanted to start off the show. First of all, for those that are watching live, to let you know that basically, you know, every summer, of course, here in Hawaii, schools get out in just a couple of weeks, and they have a year-round schedule, so they're only off two months in the summer. So really, summer vacation starts, like I said, here in just a couple of weeks. And just so happens, a couple of things have popped up for my younger son to do. He is going to be doing a basketball tournament and a soccer tournament. I think both are going to be in early June. So they're having special practice, and of course, the special practice days are Monday and Thursday. So I have to get everything ready as much as I can before I go to pick him up, take him to practice. But by the time I get back, fighting traffic and everything else, it really almost makes it near impossible to do a 8 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time start. I will do my best to get started. I'm going to work on some efficiencies here to be able to roll in and be ready to go live. But I would imagine there could be anywhere from 15 to a 30-minute shift later, which for many of you don't care. You're listening to the show after it's been really put to bed and already put on the internet and made available for you. So it's no big deal to the audience that's listening via on Tuesday and Fridays. So no sweat, but just to let you know here for a little while, at least the live show will, and really, I don't like going later. Number one, I get more tired, but it's really hard here for me to do the show in the daytime. And really what it is the studio just gets too hot. And Hawaiian homes, the way they're set up, the large majority of them that were built 10 years or older. Now, I have some older Hawaiian homes. Basically, you put a fist through the wall and you're actually outdoors. They're not basically a double walled construction. My house is. It's double walled construction, but there's no central air. It's a single level home. Really, there's no need for it. 95% of the time, we don't have to have the AC on. But when I basically put the curtains up to make the studio dark enough to do the show during the daytime, even on the morning show, the temperature just continues to rise in here almost to an unbearable level. And that's one of the reasons why I've always basically have done the show at nights here, and just the way it works out. So anyway, that's what's going to happen, and the rest of you could care less, but that's just an update and keeping you advised what's going to happen over here over the next month or so for the live show. So again, if you're new to the show, hey, thanks for being here, and of course, a warm welcome to the Ohana and listeners from around the world. You can watch the show on the Tech Podcast channel on the Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV. And, of course, you can reach the show at any time, and it's easy to do via Twitter, @Geek News. You can email me, geeknews@gmail.com. And our hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 619-342-7365. So that's how you reach out to the show, and it's how you stay connected by subscribing to the newsletter. Send me emails about what you like and dislike about the show. And, of course, definitely check out all the shows over at techpodcast.com. Full lineup of tech shows there. Every genre is covered, really. So that's what's kind of happening with, really, that's the basics. And that gets you connected with the show. All right, I want to thank the folks over at GoDaddy. And we got a special this month. If you buy a GoDaddy product and use one of my codes, I want you to do whatever you want with the receipt. Scrub out a little bit black or whatever in certain areas, but send me a copy of your receipt, and we'll put those in a pile. And at the end of the month, we're going to draw one of those, and one of the folks that's basically a random winner is going to get $100. So again, 32% off your total new order by using promo code GO32OFF1. And all these codes, all these great codes from GoDaddy. And, of course, if you come to the website at geeknewscentral.com, you will notice that right on the main page, there's 32% off new products at GoDaddy. And you can scroll down the page, and you find the GoDaddy promo code link. Just click on that. That brings you into the website at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. It's got all my codes there, everything that is available. And definitely, there's a code there for every occasion. So definitely grab some products, mix and match stuff. And we want to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor here. But again, send me a receipt at geeknews@gmail.com of a product that you picked up, or .com, whatever it may be. And you will definitely be in the running for that $100 giveaway at the end of the month. We'll just basically put everyone's name in a hat and draw it. Okay, what else is going on? Last show, I didn't give a prize away. We didn't have a contest. I said I had all these box stock stuff. And as a matter of fact, the stack is right there of stuff. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do random prize giveaways this month. And if you've been listening to the show for a while, you will know when I started this show. So I will give a little later for those of you that have never, maybe are new and don't know the answer to this. I'll give this the answer a little bit later in the show, so you'll have to listen. So the information will be in the content. But what month in year did I start this show? So what month/year did I start this podcast? And if you email me, geeknews@gmail.com, the random prize will basically be the first thing I can grab out of the box before the next show. And we'll basically give one away to those of you that submit the correct answer. We'll put you in a stack, and we'll use randomizer, and we'll give it away, and we'll give it out to you. Also, we're all caught up on, there should be everyone that has won previous prizes. Everything's been shipped, ordered, it's gone, so there should be no one else. And I know one person was still waiting on a Roku. That is shipped. She should drop in the next couple of days. So we're going to stay ahead of this time, and I'm not going to procrastinate. But anyway, that's how that's going to work, and we'll give away a prize. Anyway, what year and what month did I start this show? answer that question, and we'll put you in the running. And I will give that answer a little bit later in the show. Well, we're going to do a little eeny, meeny staycation. It's really not a staycation. It's basically we're staying downtown. The kids have a banquet to go to on Saturday night, which is downtown Waikiki. It finishes so late, I really didn't want to get in the car and drive back at midnight to the house. And while it's only 45 minutes away, it just, we decided to stay downtown. The kids go in the pool on Sunday, on Mother's Day. Gives Mom a break. So we're doing a little mini staycation Saturday night. And Mom's going out with her girlfriend that's coming from L.A., and me and my youngest son, I guess him and I are going to find something to do, something fun, Saturday night. And, of course, they'll all be in the swimming pool pretty much all day Sunday. So just a one-day staycation here. And we're looking forward to getting a little mini break that evening, I guess, or afternoon and evening, and then part of the next day. Okay, so let me go ahead here, and I think that gets you caught up on everything that's going on. And let me look through my stack here. Hey, I want to thank the folks at Livestream. We're up on Livestream tonight, a commercial-free live streaming service, which is absolutely fantastic. And we're going to be having some other Tech Podcast members that are going to be using this same channel. So we're going to be letting several of the members start to push their content up here. So there'll be more, which will mean that the live page at geeknewscentral.com, live.geeknewscentral.com, will be live from time to time. And we'll get a schedule put together and let you know when that's going to be. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's get into the tech. We got a lot to talk about tonight. But I do want to remind you folks of one quick thing. You're going to notice on the website at Geek News Central, let me load the main page here. And actually, that was probably not a smart idea. Yeah, let's leave it there. When you come down, you'll notice here on the right-hand column, those of you that are listening, if you come over to the website at geeknewscentral.com, on the right-hand side, there's a link, the latest in pro audio from B&H. If you click on that link and you go over to B&H and make a purchase, it's just like you're supporting the show. We get basically a check back every month based on your click-throughs over to B&H. They're absolutely fantastic. They have the latest in pro audio gear. And, they're my choice when I go to pick up cameras and I go to pick up any type of audio stuff. Really, it's a fantastic company with a fantastic service. So definitely check out B&H. And also, we've got our live stream special going on. All you got to call the folks over to mmcom.com/live stream. And if you're a content creator, consider using them. Talk to Don over there, mmcom.com/live stream. All right, first tech article up this evening. And let me blow into Chrome here. Hey, this is some good stuff tonight. First thing up is The Onion. They explain in quite some detail how its Twitter account got hacked. I'm not going to go into the details, but basically phishing. They had several rounds of phishing, and 5 of the people got caught up in it. So they were sent over to a Google Apps login page for some reason. But anyway, long story short, they scored their Twitter account, and they talk about that in some detail. I won't go into any more than that. Have the link up in the show notes for you. And more interesting news, the U.S. has charged 8 in a $45 million global cyber crime scheme. What basically happened was there was cells of criminals in a variety of companies. 8 people in New York were part of the New York cell, had been charged with participating in the conspiracy by stealing $2.8 million from ATMs in the New York area in just a matter of hours, according to U.S. Attorney Loretta E. Lynch. Now, the charges focus on the New York cell of the scheme, which is believed to have been the headquartered outside the U.S., but prosecutors are trying to determine whether there are other U.S.-based cells. And basically what they did is they were able to eliminate the withdrawal limits for accounts at 2 Middle Eastern banks during intrusions and then fanned out across multiple cities using old hotel keys or expired credit cards encoded with the correct account information and access codes to quickly drain ATMs. The cells basically would then take a cut of the heist, launder the cash through expensive purchases, and then ship the money to the ringleaders. So this was quite a big operation. But the December ATM blitz reaped $5 million worldwide by the criminals, and the February attack netted $40 million from 36,000 transactions carried out in 10 hours. The attacks were carried out in Japan, Canada, Germany, Romania, and other countries. But wow, surveillance cameras showed the defendants moving from ATM to ATM with his backpack increasingly loaded with cash. Others were dumb enough to photograph themselves with wads of cash as they roamed Manhattan streets. So all 7 of the defendants, U.S. citizens originally from the Dominican Republic, have been charged with conspiracy and money laundering and face up to 10 years in prison. So an ATM scheme gone caught, gone jail. So we will see where this leads. Speaking of gone jail, dudes and ladies, this thing in Cincinnati, or Cleveland, excuse me. Wow. I have a solution for individuals like this guy that captured and basically kidnapped, abducted, and did all kind of dastardly deeds. I have a solution for him, and it starts with a box cutter. I'm not going to say more than that, but boy, oh boy. Some of this type of stuff, we almost need vigilante rules back. In fact, put a law into effect. If someone's, convicted of this type of activity, lynching should be authorized, there should be a quick and swift punishment for these types of folks. But hold your kids close, keep them tight, keep them safe, warn them. And it appears the abductions that these guys did, or this guy, I shouldn't say guys because the other 2 have been basically not charged, but the abductions were done just through coercion. Hey, honey, I know you're, my son works at your store at the Burger King. I'll give you a ride home, and the ride ended up at his home, and 10 years, and this is gonna be a lifelong trauma for these women. It's truly horrible. So I'm sure justice will be served ultimately, but boy, oh boy, absolutely incredible. All right, let's move on here to more interesting, not more interesting per se, a different type of content. Senator Elizabeth Warren has introduced a bill to give students the same loan rates as big banks. So Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, has unveiled a bill that would lower student loan rates to the same level that the Federal Reserve sets for big banks, dropping from the current level of 3.4, which is scheduled to go up to 6.9 this year, down to 0.75%. Now, of course, this bill comes with less than 2 months before the student loan rate will double, again going from 3.4 to 6.8. Senator Warren's legislation is so far the first introduced that would keep rates from doubling and would also mark the most dramatic drop in student loan rates in American history. This makes sense. Here we've got students across the, I'm thinking to myself, my kid's going to go to school 6.8. Oh my God, I got credit cards that have better interest than that. Here you're going to have college students that are borrowing money. And the banks borrow money at 0.75 or 0.75%. That's what banks borrow from the reserve. So, there's the fat cats in the Wall Street banks can borrow at 0.75. Why can't students that are going to go to college? The federal government is going to charge interest rates 9 times higher than the rate they charge the biggest banks. The same banks that destroyed millions of jobs and nearly broke the economy. So we'll see where this goes. Of course, um, she pointed out the GI Bill and the National Defense Education Act, which paid for her own education and is largely thanked for post-World War II economic boom as an example of how government assistance in making college affordable, it's not affordable, can strengthen the nation as a whole. So, I've got my GI Bill. Matter of fact, I need to start using that money because it expires after 10 years. But I think this is a good one. 0.75, that sounds good to me. I'm sure it would sound good to a lot of people. A lot of, kids are getting ready to go to college, getting ready to borrow money. All right, Senator John McCain has decided to push to the end. He's going to push to end the cable bundle. This new legislation would kill the cable bundle and repeal blackout restrictions for local sports teams using publicly funded stadiums. I think this is fantastic. On Thursday, he introduced legislation that would force cable operators and other TV providers to split up their so-called programming bundles and instead offer TV shows in smaller, more affordable packages and as a la carte channels. His legislation, called the Television Consumer Freedom Act, also would require a sports league that used publicly financed stadiums to broadcast home games within their local market. Many home games are blacked out in local markets to encourage fans to go to the stadium. And, considering that many stadiums are being built on taxpayer dollars, loans, subsidies, this is not fair. So basically, he's trying to force these enterprises that are making money off our tax, basically we're funding the sports leagues and having these stadiums being built for them. So I think this is good. He also sent a warning to TV broadcasters that threatened to move some of their broadcasting behind a cable paywall. He said if broadcasters did that, they would risk access to the airwaves that the government allow those broadcasters to use for free. He says if broadcasters are using the public airwaves in return for meeting certain public interest obligations, they're going to deviate from those obligations. It is my view that we should consider if that is the most efficient use of our country's spectrum. Woo! Now, he did introduce this a couple of years ago and didn't get too far. So we'll see where this goes. But boy, oh boy, if you think this is a good one, get on your phone and tell them to move this bad boy forward on the fast track. How many of you heard about that 3D gun? That 3D printed gun. And we talked about it, I think, here in the last show. And they did a test firing of it, and it fired. Well, the U.S. State Department is the latest to crack down on the 3D printed guns. The State Department has demanded that Defense Distributed, which has created a series of 3D files used to print the firearm, take down the files because they could violate export restrictions. So the files are offline, sort of. Once stuff's put on the internet, it's out there. It'll go far and wide. But they cracked down on this quick, but not quick enough. So anyway, we know that Defense Distributor founder Cody Wilson, who fired the Liberator, which is the world's first functional 3D gun, has been quite controversial. But anyway, it is available. The files are available on the internet. They will live forever. There's no way that they'll ever come off. All right, the International Space Station's got some issues. They've sprung a leak, a system coolant leak. One of the station's solar arrays is leaking coolant used to prevent the station's power system from overheating, but it doesn't pose a danger to the crew. But they are very concerned. And at the rate it's leaking, they feel about 45 hours from now, they're going to have to cease using that solar array. So we'll see what happens with this, but I suspect a spacewalk will be imminent on this one here. So NASA will get their heads wrapped around this, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, on the last show, I talked about Adobe. Boy, oh boy, that generated some feedback. We'll talk about it here in a little while, but Adobe users to Adobe. Take your cloud and beep it. some users of Adobe Creative Suite aren't taking the company's planned move to the cloud laying down. Now, they posted a petition on change.org, and let's go over there and let's look at this petition. And so far, they've had 4,556 people. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out right now and submit my. All right. So displaying my signature. Yes, you can do that. And let me go ahead and click sign. So basically, they're telling Adobe, eliminate the mandatory Creative Cloud subscription model. And did my stuff go? Did it? Okay, I submitted everything here. Let's click that. There it goes. So now it's processing. Okay. So I don't know if the president's going to be able to affect what's going on with Adobe, but basically they're telling Adobe, we don't want to pay, a monthly fee. And I got some mixed responses back here on that. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show when we go through the emails. But if you don't want to pay a monthly and you just want to buy your software straight up, like I do, any way to protest, my suggestion is that you do it on do it on Twitter and on Facebook. I don't know if change.org is the best place or not for this protest, but it's a start. Switching gears here, YouTube has launched their pay-to-watch subscription channel. So, this will make some moms very happy. This trial scheme launched a small number of shows, offering the channel for subscription at about 99 cents a month. Each channel will offer a 14-day free trial. And then, although the initial 53-channel lineup is fairly niche, one expert suggested the move might ultimately squeeze some smaller rivals out of the market. YouTube, obviously owned by Google, has got huge pockets and able to make this happen. But a bunch of kids shows and some stuff like that's going to be available. They include National Geographic Kids, Acorn, which provides episodes from several British TV series, Fix My Hog Premium, which is aimed obviously not at kids. It's aimed at Harley Davidson motorcycle owners, and this is just the beginning. So very interesting here. YouTube launches pay-to-watch subscription channel. We tried to do this over at Raw Voice, and there was just not enough people that were selling their content. We got a platform all built. If anyone wants a pay-per-view system, we already got one built. We can roll it out for you. Copyright troll Righthaven. Yeah, they haven't been in the news in a while, but Righthaven, which was the Las Vegas operation, turned newspaper. They were turning newspaper article copyright lawsuits into a business model. Can now slap a date on its death certificate of May 9th, 2013. As of this morning, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled on the two Righthaven appeals that it could have given the firm a final glimmer of hope, and the court told Righthaven, take a hike. So they expect, though, that Righthaven may appeal this to the Supreme Court. We'll see, but they are pretty much done. There's all these break-ins going on in different people's accounts. You would think that we'd get to a point where it would be biometric, where we would use our fingerprint or some sort of eye scan or something like that as our fingerprint. PayPal is saying that they want, within the next 4 or 5 years here, to completely obliterate passwords from the face of the planet. And basically, they're saying that their attention within a certain number of years, both passwords and pins, and will basically be gone. And they want to use what's called FIDO. And FIDO, which stands for Fast Identity Online, would work by requiring users to authenticate their smartphone or other personal device, which then authenticates to a website such as PayPal using FIDO protocols. Now, you set that up, and then you have to you have to re-swipe with your finger, an eyeball scan or something like that, and basically that serves as your password. Um, I have hard drives that require a password swipe. So you basically have to set up the first time and say, yep, this is me, this is me, this is me, here's my other finger, this is me. And at that point, basically the hard drive can only unlock if someone's got my finger. If they cut it off or, put a gun to my, to me and says, unlock your hard drive, that would probably be effective. But anyway, this is what they're looking to do and what they feel other companies are well, because this FIDO technology is starting to be embedded in new PCs and gear that you buy. And with Apple recently buying a fingerprint company, we could see it there as well. Representative Hank Johnson, Democrat of Georgia, has introduced the Apps Act. It's a bill that would require app developers to have privacy policies detailing how they share user data. Under the bill, users must be shown privacy policies and sign off on them before using an app. That could lead to kind of long-click wrap agreements that we all have seen in software and stuff. So, data is definitely become the oil of the 21st century. So they want that disclosure. What are you going to do with the data from my utilization? So I think this would probably be good. At least we'd have some details of how that data is being used. Well, Prenda is in the news, but this time in Georgia. Prenda has told a Georgia court that they should ignore Judge Wright's ruling because of gay marriage. Yes, I just said that. Georgia court, according to Prenda, Georgia court should ignore Judge Wright's California ruling because of gay marriage. Basically, they're saying that the court should realize that California has different laws than Georgia, a different governor than Georgia, a different legislative body than Georgia, different business needs than Georgia, and a different view than Georgia. All of its decisions cannot serve a mandate. So in other words, he doesn't want this California judge's papers to be seen by this Georgia court. I can't talk tonight, can I? So anyway, long story short here, the court may still allow it. We'll see where this goes, but the Prenda folks are in major damage control in different courts across the country. All right, a 14-year-old was discovered that an iPad smart cover magnet can shut off implanted defibrillators. Yes, so if you're wearing a pacemaker, it is not going to be advisable that you have your iPad with a smart cover close to your chest. Matter of fact, if I was using a pacemaker, I would immediately get rid of the smart cover. This is dangerous. So the researcher, basically this 14-year-old researcher, offers a valuable warning for people with implanted defibrillators, which delivers an electric shock to restart a heart. And if a person falls asleep with the iPad 2, was a test done with the iPad 2, on the chest, the magnets in the cover can accidentally turn off the heart device. So you need to be aware of this, and this could end badly. So make sure you tell your family members that have a pacemaker to be very aware here of this, okay? All right, there's some cool stuff over on Gizmo, and every once in a while you just see something, you go, yeah, that's cool. So, there was a saying, and some of, don't get offended by this, but oftentimes you would use a term, hey, hand me the church key. And you guys, those of you that maybe from close to where I grew up, the church key was a bottle opener, a beer bottle opener, or a soda opener. I don't know why, and I probably should look online and find out what the origins of that is. So, oftentimes someone would have a church key or a can opener on a bottle. It's kind of funny, yeah? So now, we all carry keys, at least, the majority of us do. There's something new called the key prop. It fits on your keychain. It could actually be useful. I'm not so sure it'd be more useful than a bottle opener, but You can use this. Throw your keys on the desk, and you have your iPod or your Samsung device, and you basically can prop it up. It's got a little hook in it, so you're able to essentially at this time have yourself a little kickstand. So very, very cool. It works on iPhone 4, 4S, iPhone 5, Galaxy S3, Nexus 4. And so real slick on what they've done here. Let me see. What is the price of these things? $15. It can be yours. They're doing a Kickstarter. So key prop fits on your keychain. If you want to support it, go over and support the Kickstarter. The link will be up in the show notes for you. Okay. All right. Here's in the show where I'm going to tell those of you that have been not listening since we started this show in October of 2004 that's when I started the show, was October of 2004. So now you have your answer to send in so you can win in our grab bag giveaway that we're doing this month, okay? Okay, so next article up. Here come Dinosaur Train. Yes, Roku gets PBS and PBS Kid channels. So this is pretty cool. PBS is landing on the Roku with 2 dedicated channels, which will bring content from shows like Dinosaur Train, Curious George, Frontline, and Nova to the media streamer. I thought they've had Frontline and Nova on the Roku for a while, but this is pretty cool. I have this programming available on the Roku via PBS, Public Broadcasting System. MakeUseOf.com has a good article, and for those of you that live in basically hurricane-prone areas, there's free storm tracking software to get warned before everyone else. One place to start is hurricanesoftware.com. They've got a list of all kinds of different software. Of course, there's apps available for the Android and for the iPhone, but I'll have this link up in the show notes for you. So if you live on the East Coast or in the really kind of in the panhandle of Florida or in New Orleans, Galveston, Houston, so forth, and even all the way up into New York, grab these apps, have them on your phone so that when these storms start kicking, you are going to be prepared and have news before everyone else. All right, did you guys hear about this thing that happened with CNN? In a bizarre television twist, CNN was basically covering the story out in Cleveland, and so Nancy Grace of Headline News, of course, she's always, oh my gosh, that I can barely stand to listen to her, but she definitely is an advocate for children. I can't doubt her for that, and also she covers what's going on in the legal space. Oftentimes covering stuff like this recent trial where this girl stabbed her boyfriend 32 times or whatever it was just found guilty. But they did a satellite feed, and so Nancy Grace is in one screen, and this other gal's in the other, and they faked this satellite interview. They were in the same parking lot. People saw a vehicle drive by, and then saw another vehicle drive by. This is pretty funny. This is a fake. Very, very fake. So both these people were in the same location. Instead of having her come on the set and talk, they were both outdoors in a parking lot, and the same building was behind them, same vehicles, just ridiculous. And they tried to make it look and yes, we're going to do a satellite feed. Yeah, with satellite 15 feet away. I guess that's what you call a satellite feed these days. The folks in UK sadly are saying that Syria as well is likely to be using chemical weapons. So this is more proof that that country's doing nasty stuff to its citizens. Very, very troubling. Over on the AWL.com, there's talk about Twitter and being verified. It appears that Twitter is reaching out to news organizations, one of them being BuzzFeed, where basically the entire BuzzFeed staff was verified whole lock, stock, and barrel. The only thing they had to do in their Twitter profiles was change their accounts to their work email address, which I don't know if I would be willing to do that. But anyway, it looks like Twitter is really working hard to get news organizations and their people verified. And it's kind of interesting that they're going after the news folks. Well, I guess not really, because we know that Twitter wants to be all about news and wants to have, good information out there that people are able to find stuff before it pops up on the major television networks. So if you work for a news organization, you're probably getting verified here pretty soon. Members of Congress have finally reformed Sirius DMC. Members of Congress have finally introduced Sirius DMCA reform. I tell you, my El Tungo and Moutho is not firing on 100% tonight. But, last year, the Library of Congress really sparked a firestorm when it issued new rules that made it effectively illegal to unlock a cell phone to switch to a new wireless carrier. So an online petition on the issue attracted more than 100,000 signatures and prompted a White House statement criticizing the new rule. Members of Congress have actually sprang into action and introduced at least 3 bills to deal with the issue. So we got 3 of them going through. So we'll see where this leads. But I think we're safe to say that probably unlocking at some point will be an actual law and an AKA right, according to the politicians in D.C. Speaking of politicians, and I don't read Politico, but I know some of you may read this website. Politico is going to be doing a test where they're going to have a metered paywall in 6 states and abroad, but Washington D.C. gets a break. So they're going to make D.C. exempt, which is kind of funny, but they're going to try to put Politico behind, basically a paywall, and they're going to have different price points, and with the number of stories that a reader can access for free, kind of like the New York Times did, but they haven't posted a price range yet. But if you are getting political news and you're a political junkie and you use the Politico, you're probably going to be having to pay for it here soon if you're in one of the areas where they're going to be doing the test. All right, article over in Gizmodo. Your voice is going to be used as your password with a new Barclays Bank system. So really, the days of having to remember your childhood dog's mother's maiden name or what street your first school mascot lived on or could be a thing of the past. So Barclays is going to teamed up with Nuance Free Speech, and they've been able to adapt it to Barclays Wealth, the British institution's private banking division, to shorten interaction times with customers to validate them. I don't know if I want to have any voice validation on my accounts, largely because I just don't trust them at this point. I really don't. And you're going to have to prove to me that is totally secure. All right, do you want to buy the old Air Force One or Air Force Two? It's available. Here's something that you don't see very often. And the General Accounting Office, GSA, is going to be selling one of the United States presidential aircraft. So in the 30 years that this aircraft, assigned to the 89th Airlift Wing, February of 1975 to September 2005, it flew presidential missions, vice presidents, first ladies, cabinet secretaries, secretary of states, defense, and others. This aircraft, the McDonnell Douglas DC-9-32 with the tail number NC81AL, serial number 381681. It's sitting out in Phoenix right now, basically out there in the, that's where they take airplanes to die. GSA is selling this. So if you want to be able to plane it blue and white United States of America aircraft, its price starts at $50,000. It can be yours if the price is right. And actually $50,000 for DC-9, I guess that's probably a pretty good deal. I wouldn't want to have to pay for motors and everything to get it out of the desert. That's going to be probably another $1 million. But, and I don't know, maybe I'm being exaggerated there, but I've been out to the Boneyard before. It was really, really cool when I went out. The time that I went, it was the START treaty had been signed, and as part of the nuclear disarmament that we made with the current with the previous USSR, was that they were taking B-52s and they were basically chopping them up into pieces, and they had this big guillotine for aircraft, and they would drop this guillotine through the B-52s, and they would have to cut them into 3 or 4 sections. Then the aircraft would have to be left there in its chopped up position for 6 months. And what the reasoning was, or what I was told, as I was going through the tour of the boneyard, aircraft boneyard, was at Davis-Monthan, was that they wanted to make sure that the Soviets got satellite imagery of those B-52s being chopped up as part of a way of doing the treaty verification. So I just thought it was insane that we would chop up perfectly good airplanes. Incredible. It really, really was to see those magnificent B-52s sit there and chopped up into many pieces. It literally, for an aviation guy, it brought a little tear to my eye. It really did. Trucker Tom has wrote a fantastic article about making solar pay. I tell you, we're looking at it again here at the Cochran household and what we're going to do with solar. But Tom has been at this for a while, and basically he talks about making it pay, and basically not getting some money back from the utility. So I have a link up in the show notes. I want you to read this. Now, here in Hawaii, the way it works is we have to, if we produce more energy than we consume, then there's this trade-off, and at the end of the year, there's a balancing of the books, and it's kind of a weird thing. It's not the perfect situation. The situation that Trucker Tom's in is the best, but he talks about his solar panels and the success he's had with those. But anyway, link will be up in the show notes. You definitely want to check this out. He looks like he wired his own. And that's the important part. He's able to do the labor. He has land, enough room, didn't have to put the solar panels up on the roof. He put them out in the yard. And pretty smart. I would be afraid here that if they were out in the yard, that they would get stolen. So anyway, cool on you, Trucker Tom, for putting that article up. Next article up is by KL, talking about the Umano, an audio newsreader. And definitely want to check out what Umano does. It's available in both the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store. So Umano doesn't replace Speedly, but it is a great addition to it. Umano's application is available, again, for both iOS and Android. And Umano takes articles that the editors have curated from the web and basically reads them back to you. They use a computer-generated voice to read the articles, and some of the articles are read by voice actors, making them more enjoyable to listen to. So very cool stuff. Link will be up in the show notes for you to check that out. Thanks for KL for submitting that. Oya is basically pushing forward with new funding. And we've talked about Oya in the past, but Oya is the much-anticipated Android game console that took off on Kickstarter. Now it's moving closer to launch. Early backers are already receiving their boxes. Word to Oya. And Alan's still waiting for his. But basically, this is they're doing okay with this. And some of the official launch date has slipped from like June 4th to June 25th. But a lot of people are excited to get this little gaming console, and I expect to see more about this because Alan, one of our writers, Alan Buckingham, has got one of these on pre-order. Did you guys know that the FBI still does not, or excuse me, the FBI still doesn't think it needs a warrant to read your email despite a court ruling to the contrary? The ACLU has continued its campaign to explore whether or not the government gets a warrant before scouring your email. Last month, they discovered that the IRS doesn't believe in getting a warrant, leading to the IRS promising to change that policy. And but apparently the FBI, in a response to a Freedom of Information Act, suggests that despite the ruling in U.S. versus Warsaw, in which the Sixth Circuit said that a warrant is needed to compel an ISP to turn over emails, the FBI believes it can access email older than 180 days without a warrant. Wow. So, anyway, the FBI is still grabbing email older than 180 days, it appears. In even more crazy stuff, judges allowing the FBI to use evidence collected via what's called a Stingray fake cell tower. Apparently, the FBI put up a fake cell tower in order to capture and keep tabs on their suspect's location and what he was doing. And basically, this is very, very troubling in what they've done here. And I don't know what all this did, but you would assume that if they set up a fake cell tower, probably some of his calls were going through there too. And it violates probably our Fourth Amendment protections. But this is pretty crazy stuff here. The judge is allowing the FBI to use evidence collected via this fake cell tower. And it really makes you go, doesn't it? The president has announced open data policy with executive order. In a really overdue but welcome move, the president has issued an executive order mandating open and machine-readable data for government-published information. So this is in a move to make data more readily available. The United States of America has announced that the Project Open Data and has chosen GitHub to host the content. So there's a great article on Ars Technica. I found this over on Slashdot. Very, very cool. Syria's internet has gone offline. It's been offline for a while now. Someone has pulled a plug on it. This happened on the 7th. So it's been going on for a couple of days. No internet in and out of Syria right now. Okay, last article for tonight. FCC is moving towards new in-flight broadband services. So the agency is proposing a new air-to-ground service using fixed satellite spectrum. This is interesting here. The FCC has voted to open a notice of proposed rulemaking, seeking comments on proposal assigned the 500 megahertz on a proposal to assign 500 megahertz of 14 gigahertz spectrum for new air-to-air, air-to-ground broadband services. In-flight broadband would share the same spectrum with current occupants, including fixed satellite services in some U.S. government agencies. So it's a pretty big swath of a frequency there. So more connectivity in the friendly skies. Don't know if I want that myself or not. All right, let's go ahead and open up email here. There was a few that came in, and let me look what I've got here. Boom, 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 waiting for it to load. Let's drag this over here so I can actually see it. I don't want you over there. Come on. There you go. Good email program. How many times do you guys talk to your computer? You do that very often? And today is the 9th. The last show is on the 6th. All right. So, got an email from Adrian. And Adrian is one of our longtime tech podcast show creators. He said, "Hey, Todd, just listen to your reaction to Adobe Creative Cloud in episode 856. My reaction to you, whoa, calm down. I'm a long-time Adobe CC user, and quite frankly, I think many of your fears are unfounded. I regularly use Audition, Dreamweaver, Lightroom, Premiere Pro, Acrobat, and Photoshop, and dabble with the rest of the suite. If I were to buy all that using the old box model, how much would that cost? Even at $600 a year, Adobe CC is less expensive than buying all the box software every 2 to 3 years, which I would be forced to do because every time a new OS comes out, it usually breaks the older version of Adobe's products. And for me, it comes down to entry price. I can either save up a little money each month until I have enough to buy the box version, buy them, then immediately start over doing the same thing for the next period I need to upgrade. Or I can take the same amount of cash every month and just give it to Adobe and always have access to the latest version. If you look at it over a 2 or 3 year period, really, what's the difference? From my perspective, very little, except I get access to everything they make, which you only install what you want with their very slick install management tool. Platform fears, unfounded. You just can't use it on unfounded. You just can't use it on both at the same time. Pricing fears, please. They can do the same thing to the box version and have the same customer backlash. I think Adobe Creative Cloud is a good thing. It dramatically lowers the cost of entry for many people who want to use the products but otherwise couldn't afford it, thus growing Adobe's user base, and has the added benefit of not having to support older versions on newer platforms. I think it's a win-win for users and for Adobe. Your situation may not work with their model, but I think if you look at it a little closer, they're not out to burn anybody, and once you're in that ecosystem, it's actually quite good. I don't buy brand new software every year. I can't afford to. If I bought brand new software every year, I would literally have to turn off the lights. It wouldn't work. I keep stuff, I recycle and use stuff, for the studio. There's a certain amount of budget I set aside for the studio. The studio is very important to my livelihood. Adobe products are not. So I use Adobe periodically. I do not get $50 a month out of the Adobe. I buy Adobe Edition, cost me $99. I'll use that for, matter of fact, the first time I bought Adobe Edition, I used it for like 5 years before I updated. This version I just bought, it will go until this machine dies, until it's done. I will stick with that edition. I'm recording audio and video. I don't really need some of these fancy tools. I don't need it. So I don't think I would really get $50 a month worth out of it. I would get enough utilization out of 3 years by buying it once. Now, Melvin takes the other approach. He says, I agree with you 100% on the issue of Adobe taking all of their apps to cloud only. I don't like monthly subscriptions, especially at the high prices Adobe is charging. And like cable TV, I hate paying for stuff that I don't use. My basic needs focus only on InDesign and Photoshop. Fortunately, unlike how I was 5 to 10 years ago, I don't rely on those tools as much as I did in the past. I have found alternatives that do not require an expensive subscription model for what I do on my Mac. Adobe Subscription Suite penalizes a small business and personal users in favor of large organizations and individuals who can afford an expensive monthly rental of software. As far as I'm concerned, I am done with Adobe. Mel, I am too. I will not buy any more Adobe products. I'll go to something else. It doesn't work for me. I agree, Melvin, wholeheartedly. Got an email here from Robert. He said, hey, Todd, with all the talk about Arrow and it's being available in limited areas, seems everyone has forgotten about Film On. Filmon.com. Being a cord cutter, I like using Film On. It lets you stream live local channels right now from Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, including all the major networks, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, CW, and so on, no matter where you are located. The SD stream is free, but you have to pay if you want HD. They also have recorded function and apps for iOS, Android, Mac, PC. I watch using XNBC. How are they able to do this? Am I missing something about Arrow? Good question. I don't know. I think Arrow has maybe has some sort of financial relationship with it, potentially. Got an email from Manuel. He says, hey, Todd, Adobe's been doing this for 2 years and basically talking about this Adobe Suite stuff. And I said, Manuel, no, it's no more box versions, rent only. And then he says, oh, just found out from my geek friends that all software is being rented now. A bummer. Hopefully you'll get a nice solution somehow. Bye, Manuel. Manuel, do you think it's cool? You're going to pay the $50 a month? And I had one that I missed here. That came from DJ. He said, hey, Todd, I know you read email at the end of the show, but in case you didn't report this already, the Senate approved the internet sales tax proposal, moving their legislation a step closer to law and paving the way for shoppers to pay sales tax on the majority of online purchases. To become law, the bill would need approval in the House, where Republicans are still split on the issue. Sorry to be such a downer. On a more positive note, there are some great Sim City alternatives for those sick of EA. Cities XL, Anno 27, Cities in Motion, and Tropical 4, to name a few. Buy them before you get charged online sales tax. Love the show, DJ. Thanks, DJ. Appreciate it. Got an email. Oh, yeah, the same one. I got an email from Axeman. He says, hey, Todd, this YouTube video might bring a smile. Look forward to hearing your reaction to this one. By the way, it's a real product. Stumbled upon it on Amazon. Oh, we talked about this. Man groomer. Yeah, it was weird. All right, that wraps me up here for the show tonight. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I definitely appreciate your support. Hey, we're down to one sponsor for basically for about another week here. And really, your support as an insider would be greatly appreciated. Helps us out a great deal when we're not basically shoving 2 ads at you a month. But I'm hoping that you like the content well enough and that you've been here long enough that you would consider becoming an insider. And really, it's easy. You go over to geeknewscentral.com/insider, and I've got a really easy option here. I got a bunch of plans. Option 1 is $2 a month. Now, if you really think about this, at $2 a month, let's break this down. $2 divided by 30 days, right? What is that? That's 7 cents a day. 7 cents a day, and you really go a long way to supporting the show. If every listener in this audience signed up for the $2 a month plan, we could really do some damage around here. We could do some pretty incredible things. We would go beyond incredible if every contributor, every person on the show was able to contribute $5 a month. And really, even if you look at that, at $5 a month, divide that by 30 days, and really, what are you looking at then? You're looking at 16 cents a day to support the show. So we hope, or I hope, that you like the content well enough that you'll consider becoming an insider and supporting the show financially. And, this for the past really here, we're moving into our 9th year. I have dedicated every Monday and Thursday night to bring you what I feel is one of the top tech shows on the internet. Though through the years, I feel I've proven to be reliable, and very few days have we taken off in the show. I'm here pretty much about 98% of the time. So I really appreciate your support. And come in with a donation, and it would help us out a lot by becoming an insider here and supporting the show. I definitely appreciate it. So again, we're going to wrap up here, but 2 things. Don't forget about the giveaway. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. And don't forget about sending me your GoDaddy receipt, and we'll put you in for a drawing to win a cash prize, a little rebate. And send that to me at geeknews@gmail.com. But other than that, we're done. I want to thank you very much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks to Johanna. Thanks for all the longtime subscribers for staying with the show. I really appreciate you as part of our audience. And let me know how we're doing. And we'll keep the ball rolling here. Again, remember, for those of you that are on the live stream, we'll be starting a little bit later, just for 2 or 3 weeks here, while we're dealing with some kid practice issues for soccer and some basketball stuff. So just a matter of logistics, not being able to get back to the house as quick because of this horrid Honolulu traffic. But until next time, everyone, take care. We'll see you